You hear that? It's like baby, baby.
I hear you.
Zion.
What up?
Hey, little bro. I already knew I was gonna do this, boy. But you had one, bro. You got one.
That's love right there.
Real, but everybody go through rainy nights. The world gonna feel this one, little bro. You hear that?
Rainy nights gonna be ready.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every one of you. My name is Harry O. Williams, HLW2. This is Purpose Over Pain podcast. We thank you all for tuning in to the show again. I am excited about this podcast as always, and I want to thank each and every one of you for listening, for subscribing, for telling your mother, telling your daddy, your friend, everybody. We believe that this podcast will go to the nation, and we thank you for just tuning in today. This is a double hitter podcast. This is our seventh podcast for the day, but I'm excited. I got in the building Miss Feletta Smith. Y'all welcome Feletta Smith. Hey, Feletta, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Good having you in the building. Old Feletta Smith is an old East Sider. She a little younger than us, but we happy to have her in the building. I just was teasing her before the podcast how young she was. She couldn't come out the porch. Off the porch. She had to wave at us because she couldn't. She had to be inside the house. But we thank you for being in here. How everybody doing?
Everybody good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You know what I'm saying? I have to ration you down for, doing all of your little interviews and all the little stuff that you be doing around the city and everything. But we honored for you to be here as our guest. But Feletta, tell before we jump into everything, tell us a little about yourself, where you come from, who your mama is, your family, all of that stuff.
My name is Feletta Smith, and I grew up on the east side, born and raised.
Out east, Feletta. You got to say
Out
that.
east.
You're the second person that came here and have not. Y'all gonna lose y'all east side card. You from out east. Okay. Then. All
I'm
right.
from out east.
Yeah.
My grandmother, Lucille McLeod.
Shout out to Miss Lucille.
Yes. My mother, Frances, is her first daughter. Yes, I grew up, born and raised.
Yeah, born and raised.
Out east.
Out east. That's right. That's how you correct yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't got but two chances. You lose that. You got to go back and you got to get recertified after a year. If you forget to say out east for 3 consecutive times, you lose your out east card for a year and a day.
Out east.
Yeah, out east. So you're doing good. You only got one. But so tell me, you got kids? You got any kids?
Yes, I have a son. He's 27 years old.
Shout out.
Yes.
What's his name?
Justin.
Shout out, Justin. You see, I make your mama call your name, Justin. So shout out to Justin. 27 years old, doing this thing. He in the city?
Yes, he is.
He's
He's back in the city.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. Just one. That was it. You was one and done.
One and done. No grandchildren yet.
No grandchildren?
Yes.
You want grandchildren?
I do one
Really?
day. Yes.
You ain't finna rush no grandkids.
I'm not.
Right
I didn't say that, but
you want them. You want them to
Yes.
come over and sit them on back. Go on back there.
Yes, right. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I got 6 of them, so you don't.
Okay.
You know.
See, you know what I'm.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Got a whole squad. I got a whole squad of them, man. So that's good. You just got one. Yeah. So listen, how your grandmama doing, man? I see her pretty often here.
Yes, she's doing great. 91 years old.
91.
Still, yes.
Yeah.
She's 91. She'll be 92 on New Year's.
Yeah.
She's still moving.
Yeah, no doubt. She definitely still moving.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations. on
Yes,
that.
she
91 years old. Yeah. I see her when I come through.
Yes.
I gotta give her a hug. Definitely gotta give her that. All her friends gone. All
of them. Yes.
She outlived 91.
91.
Yeah, she outlived them. But listen, we always try to come in hot. We always try to come in hot on this podcast. You know what the name is, Purpose Over Pain.
Yes.
Right? And so when you hear that phrase, purpose over pain, what does that mean?
For me, purpose over pain means, what is my purpose? I was shot 13 times, left for dead. It's been 21 years, February 29th, 2004.
Huh.
I was left for dead. So purpose over pain, I had to ask the Lord several times, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
Because you saved me, you kept me here. So just trying to get to my purpose for still being here.
Yeah, and you realizing that. You realize
I'm
what your purpose is,
realizing it
walking in it.
because, now you see people get shot one time and they die.
No doubt.
So 13 times with an AK-47
You know you
I
got
have
a
a
purpose.
purpose.
Yeah,
Right.
No doubt. You know you got
Yes.
you survive. Yeah. First of all, to God be the glory. 13,
Yes.
13 times. And how many years ago this was?
February 29th, 2004.
Wow. You
So
still
21
here.
years.
Wow, 21 years, man. Praise God for that. And
Yes.
you don't look like what you've been through.
And I thank him.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
with that being said, we'll start. We'll jump in with that, and by all means, feel free to share with us anything that has happened in you, to you, other than what we're about to talk about now. Since you started with that, and so that 13 times.
I gotta start with that.
Gotta stop with that. As a matter of fact, the listener don't want to hear anything else.
But that.
Yeah, you don't set it up with that.
Yes.
If I say anything outside of that, they're gonna be mad at me. Like, why you saying nothing about the girl being shot 13 times?
Yes.
13 times. So now take us back 13 times. You being shot. I know that was it's a whole painful ordeal.
Yes, the actual day that it happened, it was a Saturday,
Mhm.
February 29th, and we were all right here on the avenue.
Yeah.
They were honoring my grandmother as the mayor of the East Side.
Yeah.
So my whole family, we all were there. It was a parade, and as time went on that day, we go to my grandmother's house. Everybody went there, and I left my grandmother's house and went home, and, someone that I knew, from out east as well,
Yeah.
out east.
Out east.
Grew
that's
up
right.
out east.
You good?
I
You doing good? You doing good?
I met with him, and he asked me to come over, and I did. And as I was home, I'm sitting home.
So let me hold up, back up, Feletta. We moved too fast.
Okay.
So you met with him.
No, we're gonna back up. You said back up. So let's back up.
So you knew him already? You didn't
I
know
knew him already,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
He was also from the east side,
Okay.
out east. I'm sorry.
Out east.
My apologies.
Okay, that's number
He was
2.
also
Second strike.
out east, and he wanted to, connect later.
Okay, I got you.
So I went home and I sat on my bed, and I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said, well, I need you to meet me, at this place or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but if I don't catch up with you tonight, I'll give you a call tomorrow. So I'm sitting there, and it was something that was so heavy. And I'm not going to say something.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
God.
It was God.
Not
Yeah,
something.
you just back then it was something.
It was something. It was so heavy on me, telling me, don't go.
Wow.
And I'm fighting against, why is God, don't go? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I fight so hard and go. And I get to the place he wanted me to meet him at. He was still there. So as I'm following him to his residence, something telling me, watch the street signs.
Wow.
Watch the street signs. So if you need to call for help, you'll be able to call for help. And I'm like, why? What's going on?
And you still moving forward.
I'm still going. Still going. Still going. Still going.
So you're not to go watch the street signs just so you can get up out of here.
Still going.
Wow.
Get there to his residence, and the only thing I could remember was his street name.
Okay.
Didn't remember the street numbers, the house number,
Yeah.
should I say. And I'm just there, and we talking, and, just normal. So his son was there, so I'm feeling like, okay, everybody's going to be cool because there's a 13-year-old. There's a child here.
Yeah.
So, they were doing, drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So they asked, did I want, and I'm like, no, because I need to be alert. And I'm alert for what?
Yeah, but you already on higher alert anyway.
Yes, but I'm like, why? So we sitting there, and the video game is being played by the 13-year-old, also with the offender, because this is the person that turned out to want to kill everybody.
Wow.
So he's playing the game with the 13-year-old.
So the guy that shot you,
Yes.
he at the house and he playing the game with the 13-year-old.
Yes.
Wow.
So we are sitting there, and me and the dad goes into the den, and we're sitting there just talking, just having a conversation. So they're interacting back and forth, talking, my friend and his roommate, because it was his roommate.
It was his roommate.
Yes. And they're talking or whatever, and time goes on. So the roommate comes to the door and says, Unc, because he called him his unc, he called him his nephew. I'm thinking everybody cool, everything good.
Yeah.
So when he says, Unc, check this out, he gets up, get to the door, and he just starts shooting. He's spraying. So I'm just there, and I start screaming.
So y'all in the room.
Yes.
Or So he comes to the door.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Check this out."
Yes.
He gets
so
up.
he gets up. And when he gets to the door and open the door, because the door was pushed up, it wasn't all the way closed, but it was pushed up. So you had to open it for him to see him.
Yeah.
So when he opened the door, I just heard the gunshots.
Wow.
He's shooting, and my friend turns back and hit the floor. So when he hit the floor, I'm still screaming because I'm like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
What's going
And
on?
he steady shoot me, and he told me to shut up. So I was like, I think I need to shut up.
Shut up right here. This is a good time to
Just
shut up.
So I just laid there, still as I could be. Then I heard the 13-year-old say, "What you did to my daddy?"
Wow.
And he said, "I didn't do anything to your daddy." And I heard the gun go off again. Then I heard the gun go off again.
Wow.
So in the midst of all this, the roommate has a young lady there with him. So now I hear her screaming, "What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?"
So the guy who does the shooting, he is somebody else in the house with him.
With him.
So let me go here first before I move up. So when you went to the when your friend went to the door and the guy began to shoot his roommate, at that moment did you know, did you think about like, this is why I felt the way I felt?
Not
at that moment.
Not at that moment.
Okay.
Not
all
at
right.
that
I just
moment.
wanted to make sure.
No.
Not at that moment.
Not
okay.
at that moment.
But you did down the line. Okay.
Yes.
So fast forward. So it's a young lady. And,
Yes.
And,
So she's screaming, and he's like, "Come on, get your stuff, let's go." And she said, "No." So he said, "Get your stuff, let's go." So I can hear them, moving around in the house. They leave out. I hear the burglar bar door lock, and they get in my friend's car. So you all are leaving, but
Hey,
y'all leaving in his car.
in his car.
So I'm laying there, and now I'm just laying there like, what's going on? Because my body is just burnt. It's hot. I never been shot. I never been through anything like this. So I don't know what to do.
Oh, so at this point you're shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
See, I thought he came in and he shot your friend, and then you were screaming. So when he came in, when he actually came in, he came in
Yes.
spraying.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. So you're shot.
Yes,
You're
I'm
screaming.
laying there.
And you got to be
And
quiet because he said,
I know they're gone now because I hear the music in the car. When you crank up the car, I hear the music and I hear the car driving away. So I'm just laying there and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I start praying. I say, Lord, please don't let me die in this mess. Because I felt,
thank you, Lord.
my mouth is dry and I knew I was going to die. So I feel around for the phone and I dial 911. I tried to call my mom, but it was his phone and his phone was locked.
Mm-hmm.
So the only number I could dial was 911.
911.
So I told her 911, I couldn't tell her where I was because I'm on the cell phone.
Yeah.
It wasn't a landline.
Yeah.
So I'm telling her, can you please call my mom? Can you please call my mom? Because I know I'm dying. I just wanted to speak to my son because he was 5 at the time.
Wow.
So I'm like, can you please call my mom? And I'm not thinking 911 calling my mama. What my mama gonna
what your mama
think
gonna
or
do?
feel like?
Yeah. Something happened to her when they called her.
Right.
Yeah.
So the lady was like, just talk to me. Can you tell me where you are? And I was like, I can only give her the street name. Again, we on cell phone, so they can't track at that time where I was.
Yeah.
So I'm just laying there. I say, please, I got to go to sleep. She said, no, keep talking to me. I have someone calling your mother, and, they asking my mom, do she know where I'm at?
Yeah.
Because I don't know where I'm
You
at.
don't know where you're at.
So my mom was like, no, and, she's waking up my sister and calling my auntie, and, because they may know where I'm at. So at that time, I'm just there. So thank God the neighbors called 911.
Wow.
Because they heard the gunshots.
They heard the shooting. Wow.
So they called, and the lady was like, just keep talking to me. Stay with me. And I was like, no, I got to go to sleep. I'm tired. So I seen the light shining in the window. And she said, do you see that light? I said, yes, I see the light. It was the police. So I'm laying there. They got to call the fire truck because, again, he locked the burglar bar door.
He locked the burglar bar. They can't just get in.
They can't get in.
Wow.
So that seemed like another lifetime for them to open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they get there. And they get to me. However, my friend is laying like in the middle of the door. They can't move him.
Hurdle. They can't move him. Wow.
Oh my goodness. It was like
It's everything
the
that could
worst
happen.
pain.
Yeah.
They got me They had to get me over him, to get me out. Then going in the living room, I see the 13-year-old.
As they pulling you out.
Yes.
Wow.
His head was blown open. Close range, AK. He still had the control in his hand, the game controller. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I got to the hospital, and I was just in and out of consciousness. But, I was talking to the, EMS or whatever. Got there to the hospital. They hadn't got my family. Everybody comes. My family is just, because although we grew up out east, I've never been through anything like that. My upbringing, my growing up, my grandma didn't play that. My mama didn't play that.
Wow.
So.
You was a homebody.
Yes. Wasn't no going outside, and no, they didn't play that.
They didn't play that. So listen. So while you going through all of that, at the moment when the EMS police officer, all of them, when they got there and they finally got you on the stretcher, did you still feel like I'm dying, or you felt relief? What did you feel?
That is a feeling. My body was just burning.
Wow.
I was thirsty. I was so thirsty.
Wow.
And they wouldn't let me go to sleep. They kept saying, talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me. And it seemed like it took forever to get to Shands at the time.
Yeah.
So,
but like Shams was in Deerwood.
Listen, so we finally got there, and my mom and my sister had met us there. So my aunt at the time, Debbie, she was losing it, because she's thinking my friend did this to me. So she is just acting up, Get to the hospital. They tell my mom what has happened to me, all the stuff going on with me. And my sister said my mom just fell out, because they telling her,
They telling her,
and
of course.
I get there, in the hospital. They got to rush me in. They couldn't give me no medicine because my heart rate, everything was so low. And they just trying to stop the bleeding. My leg blew open, my bone showing. It was just a lot when I got there. So I'm laying on the, before they get ready to operate, they're trying to stop the blood, and I can see the people moving around, but I can't hear. And I see the sky open up, and I see the white doves just flying around. And I was like, oh, Lord, no. I say, Lord, no,
I can't
please.
go. I ain't ready.
Not yet. Wait a
Not yet.
minute. So I'm just praying and like, Lord, no, my baby. All I could think about was my son.
Wow.
All I could think about was my son. And then even just in that moment, just to think back, well, not that particular moment, but thinking back, if my son would have been with me, my son probably would have been dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course. If he had killed the other
13-year-old.
kid, yeah, of course.
And I'm there. So as I'm praying and talking to, God, and I'm saying, Lord, please, no, not now. My baby need me. He need me. So then the sky eventually closed up, and I can hear the people again.
Okay.
And the lady shaking me, saying, Miss Smith, we thought we lost you. And I, kind of jumped, coming back too. So, yeah.
Wow.
That was real.
Wow. So, you're going to surgery.
Yes.
Yeah. Did anyone ever tell you how long the surgery was? How do you know?
On my way, them pushing me down the hall, taking me to surgery, just seeing my family, because they let everybody come and talk to me for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom was first, my sister, my auntie, everybody, and I could see the look on their face.
Yeah, and everybody, including the doctors and everybody, they probably wasn't saying it, but they probably thought that we that's a good possibility we're gonna lose her.
Yes.
So let everybody make peace this way, talking to her. Wow.
Everybody, but I could tell by the way they was looking.
Yeah.
And like I said, me and Debbie, we used to be really, really, really close. And it was just a look on her face. And I could just tell everything that she was telling the police. She was going to kill my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I know he did this, not knowing. They don't know any answers because I can't tell them anything at this moment. So it was just like, I'm looking at them like, I must be look really bad. And they say I had them blew up so big.
Wow.
So
at this time, did they not know that your friend was dead?
No, they didn't.
They didn't know. Okay.
They didn't know.
So they didn't know. All they know is that you was found at the place.
Yes.
Shot.
They have information from 911 that I was calling for help.
Okay.
So it's
okay. So They thinking it's him.
Right.
Yeah.
So they couldn't make out who or what had to happen. They just know I was calling for help. They got me out of there, got me to the hospital. So nobody has any answers.
Yeah.
So while my
And
aunt,
you can't give him no answer.
right. So while she's out there just acting a fool, pretty much, the detectives now get to the hospital, and my auntie told the detective, I'm gonna kill him because he didn't have to do this to my niece.
Wow.
And the detective say, well, you don't have to kill him because he's already dead. So now they really don't have any answers. And I can't tell them who it was because I can't. You know what I mean? In the moment. So when I got out of surgery, I had a tube in my mouth. I still can't talk.
Can't tell.
But I could write.
You could write.
So, I was writing in a lot of different stuff, and they done flipped the script and tried to change the narrative that it wasn't him. You know what I mean? And his brother and cousin came to see me in intensive care.
Wow.
Yeah.
The shooter's brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they came, and again, I got a tube in my mouth. I can't tell my mama because my mama, she don't know.
So you conscious of them and you see them.
Yes.
Wow.
So my mom was in the room with me because I'm in intensive care. It's real strict intensive care. So had it been my grandma in the room, she know them. My mama don't know them.
Don't know them.
So I'm writing on a piece of paper, let my mama know who these people are. Because y'all bold to come to the hospital to see me.
Yeah.
But y'all want to come.
They want to see if you're going to
They want to see what I know. So when they came, the brother, like I said, his brother and his cousin, they came and was like, oh, we're looking for him. He's missing. Do you know where he at? I shook my head, no. And I'm telling my mama, writing it on a piece of paper to my mom who these people are. And she kind of looked, and from that moment, I had the police the whole time I was in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Because my thing is, I understand y'all are trying, for whatever reason, I'm going to live to tell he did it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So when they got, the police from that point, like I said, the whole time, the whole month I was in the hospital, I had the police there.
So your stay in the hospital was a whole month?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
A whole month.
And so you began to see at what stage you begin to see the turnaround in your health, that you got out of the danger zone?
Well, I was there, like the first couple of weeks, it was just the worst. I couldn't feel my legs. I thought I wasn't going to walk again, which they said I wasn't. Because,
so you was paralyzed?
Yes, I was in a wheelchair for like 4 months.
Wow.
Because one of the AK bullet went in the front of my leg, and it just blew my leg open.
Okay. So
my bones were showing. They had to graft skin. They had to, a lot. I went through a lot just being in the hospital. Yeah. Then, as time go on, he on the run.
So now you're not incubated anymore. You're able to talk.
Right.
So they know what happened.
Yes. I went from intensive care to step down intensive care. Then I finally went into a regular room.
Wow.
So now it's really where we talking. We got these stories, talking to the detectives.
Yeah.
Talking to and it's crazy because now my detective at the time, my homicide detective, he's now the undersheriff.
Really?
So I can pick up my phone and call him, and he's there. He's there. This is like a 21-year relationship.
Wow.
And he was a homicide detective at the time, and they came and they let us know all the time what was going on. We know where he is, we've gotten him, we just doing everything right, But what was so crazy about it, he wrote my friend's grandmother a letter and said, I set my friend up.
He say you set the boy. Wow.
I orchestrated all this. If I would have orchestrated something, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have got shot 13 times.
That wouldn't have been the story
not
that
13,
you... Not 13.
Graze me maybe.
Yeah,
but
graze you maybe. Yeah, slap you around a couple of times.
Right.
But
don't even shoot me.
Definitely don't shoot me.
Right.
And don't shoot me 13 times. Yeah. So while you're in the hospital, you paralyzed, you can't walk, nothing. They gotta...
Right.
I mean, what was going through your mind at that time while you were rehabbing, coming back? Were there times where you, like, obviously, it goes back to what I said earlier. Obviously, there were times like, this is what I was feeling.
Yes.
Right. And so you was mad. So I can imagine you were mad at yourself. You was, you know what I mean? So what was the type of the trauma that was going through your mindset then?
Just being there. Now I'm in a regular room, and this kind of reality is really kind of setting in. And I'm like, you think about, people always say it was something. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't something. It was God.
Right.
It was God. And my aunt had came to see me. My aunt, she's gone now, but Mary Austin Jones, she was a world-renowned pastor, Will for Jesus. Mm-hmm. She came to the hospital to see me. And I was talking to her and telling her, she came twice. She came when I was in intensive care. And she was just like, Nisa, you are anointed. She was like, oh my God, oh my goodness. You know, it was just like, and she was talking to me and I was telling her what happened when when the sky opened up and different stuff like that. I said, we talk about stuff. I said, but sometimes we challenge what we can't see. I said, but that for me was it. So then everything started turning. I told her, I said, I just want to know why. And then she said, well, because I had told my mom and my grandma, I told them a lie. I'm going to go ahead and call it what it is. I told them I was going to
it's a lie.
told them I was going to the movies. So when you got a lie going somewhere, you ain't got no business going.
You don't need to go.
You don't need to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said I was going to the movies, and my mama instantly said, no, you're not. You lying. She knew. She just said, no, you're not. You lying.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Your mama knew. She knew you were going to be fast. She knew that.
I guess. So I'm just laying there, still being in the hospital, just thinking about the Lord told me I was fighting so hard against going. And for me, I can say that situation, it was meant to happen because my friend was nobody that should have been in my life. This was something I was passing time, just passing time. This was my first time ever going to my friend's house.
Yeah.
So he was just somebody that wasn't supposed to be there. And God clearly spoke to me and said, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. So in this, you had to get hurt because you was not listening.
Yeah. I ain't gonna let you die, but you got to learn.
I ain't gonna let you die, but you're gonna learn this lesson, and you're gonna learn this hard way.
13 times you're gonna learn this time.
Yeah.
13
because
times.
I know after going through court and going through the different things, like I said, me and this friend grew up in the neighborhood together, but I personally didn't know to the extent of the type of person he was. So it was better for it to happen then, me not listening, so I had to go through what I went through. And it,
And God just allowed you to, for reasons you've come into know, but also reasons you don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a greater purpose even now. I'm sure that there's some things that has happened from then to now, but our purpose is always being unfolded. You know what I mean? Over the years. And I like the way you said you knew it was God that saved them. It wasn't the doctors, it wasn't nothing. It was a miracle. It wasn't nobody but God.
Yes.
That allowed you to make it 13 times being shot.
Even the doctors, like when I was in the hospital, they was like, we've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Because I was just progressing so,
rapidly,
so fast.
Wow.
And because my mama, I was living off of borrowed prayers already.
Say, I had a praying grandmother.
Yes. And I had one nurse, and she used to come in, and she said, I just love coming to your room. She said, baby, I can feel the anointing when I come in here.
Right.
She said, it's just over you. She said, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. And I said, I'm living off these borrowed prayers.
Right.
Yes.
You sure? So were you at the, when you, like I said, when you were there, thinking about like, man, all of the things I should have done, right? And I'm sure you were angry. I'm sure you was angry at what could have happened. You was angry. Even though you was grateful that you hadn't died, but you still was angry about it.
I was angry with what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, Lord,
were you the first person you was angry at, or you were?
No, I was angry at God.
You was angry at God.
To be honest.
Okay, all right.
I was angry at God because I'm like, how can you let this happen to me? And he was like, no, you let. And I mean, it was just as clear as day.
Yeah.
He was like, no,
this ain't on
you
me.
let it happen to yourself.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, because the scriptures say Warning comes before destruction.
Destruction,
You know what I mean?
yes.
And so, like you said, you was warned when you was home, and then you got warned again when you driving, and to say, look
And
at me,
fighting so hard
fighting
against
so hard.
not going.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and I meant to ask you back then. So, and I'm glad you laughed on that. So when you were thinking about not going, was that a feeling that did you feel like, well, I feel this way because of something that might happen between him and me, and I
No.
might not need to be going?
No.
Never thought about that.
I felt that way, and it was like in the back of my mind again because I kind of knew this person's how they were.
Yeah, how they background.
Yeah, they background. I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I'm like, I haven't done anything to them. So
they ain't gonna bother me. Yeah. So you thought.
yeah,
Wow.
so I thought.
Wow. So you say you were in the hospital what?
A month.
A whole month. Wow.
I went home, and I didn't even go home because I wasn't in a position to take care of myself. So I went to my mom's house. Again, my son was 5.
Okay.
So I went to my mom's house, had a wheelchair, was in a wheelchair for about 4 months. Had a, nurse, she came like every day up until I was able to start learning how to walk and to get up and go to the rehab. So your relationship, because I hear you say about God, during that relationship, did you feel during that time, did you feel like your relationship, did you feel like you were more in a place to really just actually start developing a relationship with God? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because you say you was angry with him. You know what I mean? So after y'all stopped beefing, you know what I mean?
Right.
After you and God stopped beefing, did you get to a point where you consciously was thinking about like where I need to be with God?
I can say, like, when I first got to my mom's house, like, it was 30 days after I was, had been in the hospital, and it was a Thursday. I remember it plain as day, a Thursday evening that they let me come home, and that Sunday is actually when they picked up my offender. And I think I started building my relationship with God because we had a family friend. He's actually my cousin's husband, and him and my sister had been friends since like elementary.
Mm-hmm.
But me and him started to build a relationship, Willie Addison. And let me tell you, Willie was him and my cousin had just moved back to Jacksonville from Miramar, Florida. And we started building this relationship. He would come to my mom's house every day.
Wow.
And he's a pastor. He was a pastor at the time.
Okay.
And he used to come over there, and it was just, he used to have me standing up because the nurse used to come and try to get me to stand up 1 minute. And it was just so hard to do.
Wow.
It was so hurtful.
Yeah.
And one day Willie was like, I'm standing up. He was like, come on, sis, because he started calling me his little sister. Come on, sis, you got to stand up. I said, I can't. It hurt. I had him to stand up for 3 minutes. He was like, girl, you've been standing up for 3 minutes.
Wow.
So I built that relationship with him, and I started going to church with him and just really getting into it, and just like, the Lord really saved me. Now let me find out for what.
For what? Yeah, no doubt. He saved me. He saved me for this. And I heard you say about it was painful physically for you to stand, right?
Yeah.
But I also know it was more likely it was mentally, it was mental tough too.
It was definitely mental because my mom, we still stayed out east.
Yeah.
And me, I still don't have any answers as to why you shot me.
Yeah.
So, you know me. And even in the midst of this situation, when I first got to the house, you telling me, my offender, let me be clear on who's telling me. My boy said he like you. I told him you was good people. You come from a good family.
So this is what the guy who shot you
13 times.
13 times, he told your friend that you good people.
And I come from
a good family.
Because you know everybody. You know my whole family. And I think I was dealing with that more than anything because you knew me. Mm-hmm. This was not a situation where I was some random person where you didn't want anybody to survive. You knew me. You said I was good people.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but he wasn't thinking about that at the time.
No,
right? Good people.
Wasn't.
Wow. But listen, man, we're gonna take a break real quick. We're gonna come back. Purpose Over Pain podcast. We'll be right back. Hey, this is Purpose Over Pain podcast. I'm your host, Harry L. Williams. Remember, go out, support the book. We have Blessed 2. This is a follow-up to my Blessed 1. Make sure it's on Amazon. Go and support it. Also, our first guest today was Joseph Chappelle. This is his book, Life and Times of the Real Billy Ray Valentine's. It's a real good book. And also, we have a book. I want y'all go and support Sharon Rogers Griffin. Sharon Griffin Rogers, forgive me for that. This is her book, Hannah's Secret in Savannah. Make sure you go out and support. We believe in supporting our brothers and our sisters. And also make sure you all go Purpose Over Pain Pod. We'd like to hear your comments. We'd like to hear whatever you got to say, no matter what it is. All comments are good comments. Let us know how you feel. Continue to go to Spotify as well. Keep sharing it. Keep liking it. We believe in God that it's going to go to the nation. But once again, it's Purpose Over Pain Part. God bless you. We're back in the building. We're back in the building with Miss Feletta. Amen. Miss Smith from out east, where she's on her second time of not saying out east, so she got one more time. So y'all be praying for her, so we won't have to throw her out of the studio. But Feletta, but listen, I'm just in awe of just how you don't hear a whole lot of folks surviving 13 shots, right? I mean, you done outdid the rappers. You done outdid all the rappers that have been shot. 13 times and still living, still realizing that that there is a purpose for your life, right? And so after you get out of the hospital, you start back walking again, right? Once you start back walking again, how are you now mentally at that point, right? Because I heard you say I'm going to church. I'm realizing. I need a relationship with God. And so how did that change your whole view about what happened to you? Or did it change your view then, or were you still
It was a process still. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a process. Just going to church and now trying to understand why what happened to me happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And but I still had some unresolved. I dealt with depression of now I can't do a lot of stuff that I used to be able to do because I got rods and pins in both of my legs.
Okay.
I still
to this day?
To this day.
Okay.
I got a bullet still in my back, and I just, now I'm going through depression. I'm depressed and, different stuff like that. So I got to get into it more, get into my Bible, reading, and just, start doing stuff that kind of made me not think so much about what happened.
Yeah. So now what you're going to church and everything, now the scriptures got to come alive now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I know that the enemy probably was sick, he was selling it in, causing you to think that you'll never be normal again.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you got to fight.
Absolutely.
You got to fight with that. You got to fight with what you can't do, So and going through that, do you remember like what was the time or what happened to jaw, to just shake you and you realize that I got to get up from here. Yes. I got to break out of this depression, which is rightfully so, because most people I believe would have gone through the same thing. That's a lot to experience.
Yes.
But do you remember like what happened to make you say, you know what, I can't stay here no more. I got to get up from here.
I think just with my son, being a parent to him growing up, and because when I got shot, my son thought I got in a car accident.
Really?
He was 5. It wasn't any, reason I felt like I should tell him what happened,
So y'all, that's the story y'all told. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He said it. Well, no, he actually said it. He was like, "Mom, I told you drive too fast."
Oh, y'all went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he used to always tell me I drive too fast. And he was like, "Now you done hurt your leg." Because all he could see was me sitting in the wheelchair, me. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because he was 16 and he was in high school. And my friend's son was in school, in one of my son's classes. And he calls me on his phone, whispering, "Oh, you will not believe." He's telling me, because the young man had on a shirt that had his dad and his brother on the shirt.
That had his dad.
And his brother that got murdered, a 13-year-old.
Really?
On the shirt. And my son, now you trying to pick up bits and pieces. You know how your kids be listening when you be on the phone?
They always is.
Yes.
They do you like you do them.
Right.
they ear hustling.
Right.
You
So
know
he
what
was
that means?
ear hustling.
Yeah.
So he had gotten bits and pieces of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the internet and typed my name in. Because if
Wow.
you type my name in, the whole
Everything comes up.
So he read it, and he never said anything to me until this particular day. He called me and told me, Mom, that the young man was in his class. And he was like, the young man hadn't told my son more than I even, had cared to share. He was like, Mom.
The young man cousin.
This was my friend's son.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He had on the shirt that say my dad and my brother. And my baby was like, so he asking this young man questions, his classmate questions.
Yeah.
And he said, that was your mama? He said, I heard your mama couldn't walk. He said, no, she can walk. So, yeah, it was so I wasn't supposed to walk.
Wow. Look at God.
Yes. So that just let me, and then at some point in time, I was honest with my son, filling in the blanks, because, the world going to fill him in for him if I don't.
No doubt.
So, I talked to him about the situation and going to court. I think we went to court the first time ever in 2005. And, it was still fresh for me then. So it wasn't a good scenario then at the time, man.
But your son wasn't with you when you went to court?
No,
Okay.
I never.
Okay.
Believe it or not, 21 years later, we still going to court.
21 years later.
Because he got a death sentence. He got 2 death sentences, actually. And he's fighting a death sentence. Wow. So, 21. So, it's like we reliving.
Still fresh. You reliving. So when you went to court, how was it?
The very first time in 2005, it was
nervous.
It was tragic to me because never being in this situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at this time, my offender, his whole family, they was all still living.
Yeah.
So they were there supporting him. And you know how sometimes people don't feel like their people are wrong in what they do.
No doubt.
And then, my whole family was there as well.
Yeah, so
and it being
was,
2 families
from
out east.
Yeah,
and we know out east.
Know
you heard me say out east?
Yeah, I heard y'all say it. You're right.
Everybody know each other.
You don't want to get kicked out. You heard me say out east now. I said that.
So everybody was like, it was crazy. Emotions was high.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like you say, everybody being from out east, everybody in the courtroom, that's going on. And then, so this was your first time seeing him.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So your first time seeing him, like, what were you feeling? Were you nervous?
I was nervous. My heart was beating fast, and just knowing that my mom, she was there. They made my mother testify, and it was just like all over again. I'm boohoo crying because my mom on the stand. My mama don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like my family had this peace about their self, and then on the other side, his family. My grandmother was still talking to these people.
Still talking to them.
She talking to them because she know them.
Yeah, we okay.
But it's the way that they were treating her. And I'm like, how can y'all be mad?
Yeah. So they almost treating her like she wrong for you wanting to prosecute him.
Right.
Wow.
That's exactly. And every day.
And I know that was painful.
Yes. Yeah. It was it was just making everybody angry on our side because my grandmother, she's going to talk to these people because that's just how we was raised. That's just her. I know your grandmother, so I'm going to talk to her, and your sister, because she was still here at the time. Your brothers, they were still here at the time. Different, people that my grandma know, all these people.
Yeah.
She talking to them. She speaking to them. And he did have one aunt that I can say was very, very, she was very, very nice. And she was telling my grandma, she was like, oh my God, Miss Lucy, I didn't know that was your granddaughter.
Yeah.
And my grandma said, well, you can't be responsible for what he does.
Yeah.
But how can y'all have an attitude with us? Because I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell.
You're supposed to. And people don't realize that, listen, he was guilty, number one.
Absolutely.
They can support him, but don't justify what he did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they don't realize that, you could do both. You could support him, but at the same time, you could also say that this was wrong. He's wrong. And to your point with your grandmother basically was saying she was able to separate it.
She
was able to say
separate. Yes.
that was him, but this is grandmama. I got a relationship with his grandmama.
Right.
I don't like what he did. But
Right.
Here's his auntie. Here's his grandmama. Here, and that's responsible because I believe that that when people breach relationships, the whole family don't have to go down with them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But the family goes down with them when you're justifying what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how long did this court before they sentenced him? How long did that take?
Well, we did like 2 weeks in court.
Okay.
Then he got the death sentence. It was unanimous for the 13-year-old, of course.
Of course.
The father's was 8-4. And of course, then they changed the law for Florida that it has to be unanimous. So they threw it out. Of course, we had to go back to court. We just been going back to court over a period of time. He got a life sentence for attempted murder. So my sentence, didn't change.
Okay.
But the death sentence, he's appealing. And I'm not mad about you appealing. But at some point in time, 21 years later, I need you to take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah, because he was, not justifying his actions because nobody should have done anything like that. But but to your point, he know what he did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so
and you
he
tried
was
to
younger
cover
then.
it up.
Yeah, and then he was younger then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think that it would go over with everybody if saying, hey, listen, when I was younger, I did some dumb stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I don't, I don't see why he's fighting. You know what I mean? Fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are feeling different ways about the death sentence, and I get it. However, take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah.
Take responsibility for your actions. And I think for me, it hits a little bit harder because you've tried everything. They keep changing the laws. And so you pay like you were mentally retarded because, you can't be put to death if you're mentally retarded. So you wanted to act like you were mentally retarded. You did that. Then we had to go back to court again for ineffective counsel. You did that. And I mean, it's just you're coming back. And I know you have nothing but time on your hands because, you're there, but just take responsibility for your actions.
So now over the 21 years, has there been a shift in terms of what you wanted to happen to him versus now? Has there been a shift?
I feel like for me personally, it really has been.
Yeah.
And I talked to the 13-year-old's mom. She wanted to die right now today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can understand that. That's different for her and for me because she lost her son.
She lost her son.
And for me, I feel like you should just do life.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to end.
Yeah.
We got to go to court again the end of this year.
Wow.
Or the first of next year because we got to do it again. You still fighting a death sentence. So my whole thing is just let him stay in there for the rest of his days.
Yeah.
Because he going to continue to fight. And I just feel like you don't want to take responsibility for your actions. And what really gets me, every time we go back to court, like we went to court December of 2022. We had did like a whole trial because they're not arguing your guilty verdict, they're arguing that, what you're going to get, life or death.
Life or death. Yeah.
And it's like you're there and just your attitude, your whole demeanor is like, we wasting your time.
Yeah. But to your point earlier, he got a lot of time on his hands. You know what I mean?
I know, and I get that, but have some sympathy.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
and then you, Feletta, you, and this is what, when we talk about the purpose over pain, and I'm thinking about like the trajectory. You're going from being shot, being in the hospital, rehab. Now you got to go through court stuff. You know what I mean? And so 21 years, you've grown.
I've definitely grown.
And so in those 21 years, has there ever been a time where you were able to look back at his life and have some type of turn this, see it from, even though he was wrong, but try to see it from like his lenses for what he went through?
I do. In growing, me personally growing, I can see that, it's been, because at first, let me start with at first. my whole thing was we both grew up out east.
Yeah,
You grew up like 3 blocks away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
The same gunshots you tried to say you had, trauma with hearing gunshots. I heard them same gunshots. Same gunshots. So I used to be like, no, it's not. But now I do. I mean, like me growing, that unaddressed trauma, him in and out of jail, he's never getting help to deal with things. And it's a lot that was said that went on between him and his roommate to make him get to this point. I'm just talking about you shooting me. But still, I give him the benefit of the doubt today. I can't say I gave him the benefit of the doubt this time last year.
Yeah.
But
no doubt.
today,
You're growing. Yeah, praise God.
I promise you today, I feel different about all the unaddressed trauma he had growing up, how he grew up, just his home life, family situation. I really do. I ain't saying let him out of prison.
Present, yeah.
But I kind of understand a little more.
That's good. Of course you have. If you saying, hey, listen, I don't want him to die, I want to stay in prison. You know what I mean? And him, even the whole thing around him shooting y'all, did y'all ever get any clarity? Because I guess the only person who can really give you clarity is your friend that died. As to his motive behind shooting. Was he trying to? Did you ever get any?
I never got any clarity.
Okay.
And for me, I feel like the only person that can give me clarity is him.
It's him. Yeah.
And I've even talked with the state attorney, Melissa Nelson, that I wanted to go sit and talk to him.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem, but I think,
and that's big there that you would go and sit and talk to him.
Because I can only talk to you about me.
Yeah.
Why you felt like you needed to do what you did to me.
Yeah.
So but I really don't know. Like she said, well, I don't know because you might not get what you're looking for. I'm not looking for anything from him. I just want him to know.
Talk to him.
Yeah, I just want to talk and let him know I'm not the person I was back then. I feel like I understand you had unaddressed trauma. You still, So that's why I feel like I don't want him to be put to death personally. I think you should live the rest of your life in there and
Yeah, and that's I mean that's very godly of you.
Deal with every day what you've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you went to jail, that wasn't your first time doing something. You had a history of being a delinquent.
Yeah.
So
and like I said, not ever justifying what he did, but you being in a place where God allowed you to go back and think about him. You know what I mean? Think about what he went through, stuff he experienced.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I still want some answers, but I understand. Right. I understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like you said, why you involve me and the little boy into what of course we didn't want nobody to die, but why would he involve you and his son?
Absolutely.
In it, and so as far as your family is concerned, have you seen? Did it make a difference in your family? Like not just him shooting you, but and how you've been handling things. Do you see a change in them and how you've been handling? Because a lot of times your family be angry at you and they looking at you. You ain't mad. You know what I mean? And then, they start adopting, how you are.
Yes. Well, my sister, she still has not gotten over it.
She ain't there yet.
She's not there. My mother, she's always been there. She's there. My grandma, she's still going to talk to the people.
Of course.
She's still going to talk to the people. So I just, my sister, and I try to talk to her and tell her how I feel. My son, I never even involve him in the situations. When I go to court, I don't even tell him about it.
So I don't really know how he feels.
I don't really know how he feels.
Okay.
But we did have a conversation.
He got a strong mama, though.
Yes. We did have a conversation, and I showed him, his pictures or whatever, and I said, well, Justin, what do you think? And he said, Mom, I want to answer it where I don't make you upset. I want to answer it correctly. And he was just saying the same thing I was saying. And we never had a conversation about this before. But my son, he's like one in a million. And he was like, I just believe his life was different. Now, you don't know anything about this man. Wow. But he was just saying, Ma, I don't, he was just giving me a lot of different stuff to, he didn't really feel no type of way about it.
Yeah, and that's huge. And then, he got his mama.
He
You see what
got
I'm
his
saying?
grandma.
He got his grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he has, to the point about the lady that lost her son gone.
Yes.
He still got his mama.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so it's not as a tragic, tragedy
Right.
to him because she got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then a lot of times when people see you, it's like with anything, they don't really see your pain. Like, they don't know you got a rod in your leg unless you tell them.
Yes.
They don't know you got a bullet in your back. You know what I'm saying? So as far as they concerned, you as mama, you've been there for them, you supported them, you did all this stuff. You've always been mama. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so he feel as if he don't really have to worry about you because you here, you all right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so the attention turns to him, you know what I mean? Because he's in jail. He's thinking about what even led him to even being that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So so he's looking at it from, I think he's looking at it from a good perspective, be a young guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So so on this journey of, the purpose part of it, what do you see that's being birthed out of this pain? What do you got? What you have going on? What has God done with this tragedy? How has He turned it around to be a blessing?
The last couple of years, I started like the end of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I started a nonprofit, Beyond the Bullets, and I got the name from me being here. You meet a lot of people who lose their children, their parents, and I'm looking at it from a perspective of someone that actually endured the shooting.
Right.
So living my life beyond the bullets.
Yeah. Wow.
Beyond what happened to me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's a nonprofit that you.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that you all been able to do?
Well, what we do, we have like monthly just healing circles.
Okay.
Where we just let people talk, tell their stories.
Wow.
Some people, you get them just to come and just be there because they're not ready yet. Everybody grieves different, so we have that. We do annually where we go to the park like family days, fun days.
Yeah.
Where we just
bring awareness to this type of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
We play all the old school games and, kickball and tug of, just out there and I do a portrait of someone every year.
Wow.
A family that has lost someone. And I think I attribute it also to I lost my godson in 2018. And his mom is just the way that she deals with losing.
Yeah.
My godson. He was like her only child. And him being murdered in 2018 and just seeing her, she's just such a blessing to me as well. Because she was there when I got shot.
Okay.
She was there. She was living with me, actually, her and my godson at the time. And it was devastating for her, just to be at the house and I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the person coming back telling her, I got shot, I almost, so. Beyond the Bullets has really helped me.
That's good. So you created, so y'all created pretty much a family. It's
Yes.
a family. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and I heard you say that
system.
the guy that was a detective at that time, he's
Yes.
the understudy now.
He's the undersheriff now, and they come to my events every year.
Yeah.
Just to speak and to bring awareness, and and he's always there. I can text him, I can call him, and he is there.
Wow.
So.
And some of the victims' parents of these tragedies, are they able to, you find yourself having to mentor them, talk to them, all of this stuff, right?
Yes, I talk to them, and it's amazing because, like I say, everybody grieves different.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their own healing journey.
Yeah.
And I had at one point got to where I couldn't really sit and listen because, like I said, we do the healing circles and everybody's is different. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
And you just have to be patient
You have to be
with
patient,
people.
yeah. Because I'm sure you have some people that is angry. You know what I mean? They're going through some stuff. But here's the thing. What I think about is that how God, because I believe that had God had asked you to do this nonprofit without that pain, probably wouldn't have did it, right? I don't think you would have done it. You know what I
No.
mean? So, but look at the so look at the goodness of God. You know, sometimes things have to happen for things to happen. You know what
Yes.
I mean, and unfortunately, it had to take you being shot 13 times, seeing your friend die, seeing the kid die. But it produced a greater purpose.
It
You know what I mean?
definitely did.
Because I believe that now, and as you said, your purpose is getting higher and higher. But I believe your purpose really is drowning out your pain,
Yes.
right? And I think over time that you're going to realize that that stuff happened to you, that'll be light compared to what God is revealing and the stuff that He's
Absolutely.
trying to do to you.
And
through
it's
other
got
people.
me where I speak.
Yeah.
We go to the Capitol every year. I'm a
Wow.
part of a bigger organization, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. We change laws.
Wow, see that?
We go to the Capitol every year, speak with the lawmakers, and
And you would have never done that without them 13.
never.
You know what I'm saying? Being from out east, can't come off the porch or nothing. You would have never done that, right?
Right.
Hey, but
Absolutely.
Well, listen, man. I sure enjoyed talking to you, and I want to ask you. I want to say this to you. If there were someone who was same situation, they have a decision to make, to do something and not do something, and they hear this voice, right? What would you tell them, or what would you tell the how old were you at the time when that
I
happened?
was 28.
So what would you tell the 28-year-old Feletta?
Listen to God. It's God. It's not something.
Yeah.
Something told me. God told you.
Yeah.
Listen.
Listen.
Don't be disobedient.
Don't be disobedient. That's
Listen.
good. That's real good.
Yes.
Listen, we got to get out of here, but is there anything that, if somebody wants to reach out to you?
Yes.
How would they find you on social media?
Social media, beyondthebullets.com. That's my website.
beyondthebullets.com. All
Yes.
right. But listen, once again, I thank you for joining with us. This is Purpose Over Pain Podcast. This is our guest, Feletta Smith from out east. Thank you for being here with us. Remember, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Purpose Over Pain.
Rainy nights gon' come, just be ready. Rainy nights gon' come, just be ready. I was looking at